Hello and welcome back to Last Mountain Bird Observatory. Today's video will be looking at how we band the birds and why we collect the information we do. So in our last two videos, if you haven't watched them, make sure you go and check them out. We looked at how we capture the birds using mist nets and how we extract the birds, like this little orange-crowned warbler here. And in today's video, you'll get to see how we process and band the birds and all the information we collect. The first thing we do when we get back to the station is we weigh the bird. And we do this by putting the bird in the bag in a yogurt container and zeroing out the scale. And then so when we put the yogurt container and the bag back onto the scale, the weight that remains on the screen is the bird's weight. We used to weigh the birds by sticking them upside down in little tubes. And as you can imagine, this is a little bit nicer for the birds. What I'm doing right now is I'm writing down the weight, which I'll explain why we collect in a moment. And I'm also writing down what mist net he was captured in, because our mist nets are set up in different habitats, so it gives us an idea of habitat selection. And now I am selecting a band size for this guy. Band size is a little bit like shoe size. Every bird will need a different one, and you don't want one that's too big because it might fall right off. And you don't want one that's too small because it's going to hurt. So this bird here, as you can see, is a male American goldfinch. You can see he's a male because he's bright, bright yellow and he has a little black cap. So our bands come on little strings like this. They're made out of aluminum and they're really lightweight. And they all have a unique number, so that if we ever catch the bird again, we just need to put the number into our system and it will tell us where and when the bird was banded and any other information that was collected. So I open up the band off of the string just enough to get it out over the leg, and then I use these pliers to close it around the leg so that it fits like a little bracelet. I make sure that it's closed tightly so that there is no sharp edges on the band. But the band size is loose enough, so as you can see, it just moves around like a little bracelet. It can spin freely and move along the leg. You can see the number a little bit there. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to age the bird. So we look for molt limits in the wing. So that's the difference between old and new feathers. As you can see here, this bird is all nice and black and sooty. So it's an after second year male. And that just means that he's in at least his third year of life. And what I'm doing right now is I'm taking a wing measurement, and that's just the tip of his shoulders to the tip of his longest primary flight feather. And we combine this with the weight to get an idea of body condition. And that's why we collect the wing length and the weight. Now I'm going to check for fat. So birds store their fat at the base of their throat called the furcular hollow. And because their skin is translucent, you can actually see the yellow fat against the red muscle. As you can see, I just blow to part the feathers a little bit, and you can see the red muscle and a little bit of that yellow fat right there. And I record how much. I also look for breeding characteristics, which I'll explain in just a second here. And I write down all the information, and then once we're done, we release them through this little chute here just on the side of our desk. Sometimes we'll catch birds that are already banded, so we'll record the number and look it up in our system. So this is one of the breeding characteristics of birds. This is called a brood patch. Females develop it and it helps to keep their eggs warm. Males will develop a cloacal protuberance, which is just a swollen cloaca. This is the chute that the birds will come out of. It just kind of pokes outside from our desk. But if we have a bigger bird like this grackle, we release them outside and off he goes. So we aren't just catching these birds for fun. We're part of a migration network, and that means we're catching birds while they're migrating to their breeding grounds in the boreal forest. And we do this because it's hard to actually count them on their breeding grounds. Like this mourning warbler, for example. It's hard to find him on his breeding grounds, but we can catch him here. This gives us an idea of how many birds are actually out there so we can make good conservation decisions. This is also an opportunity for you guys, the public, to come see birds up close. It's also an opportunity to learn more about birds and ask biologists questions. Data can also be used to make predictions about whether bird populations will go up or down. Well, that is all I really have to say about banding. This is a brown thrasher. I hope you have enjoyed watching, and make sure you like this video and subscribe to Nature Saskatchewan's YouTube page for more videos like this one. Until next time, bye!